Hi there, I am here with Jim from Winar Connections, and you're the plant manager, Jim, is that correct?
I am the plant manager of the Richfield large wire facility.
This would be the large wire.
This is large wire.
No kidding, this must weigh 10 pounds right here, Jim.
Yes.
Holy cow.
We say large wire is anything 8 gauge or bigger. So
8 gauge or bigger.
this would definitely constitute that.
And that's the plant you're operating and take
then
care of it?
I also take care of our Spartanburg, South Carolina facility.
2 plants?
2 plants.
So 1 week there, 1 week here? How do you do that?
I'm mainly up at, we call it 1.0, the Richfield facility.
Okay.
I travel down to South Carolina a couple times a year, but I have some pretty reliable people down there.
That's good to have.
So I can communicate and work remotely for most of the time.
And is that the 2.0 down there?
That is 2.0.
We were talking with Steve earlier about this. So you're at the original 1.0.
I am.
And the 2.0. Well, what's a typical day look like for you? You get there, you pour yourself a cup of coffee or tea. I don't know what you do.
Right. Coffee drinker.
And then what? Then what?
So we do all the facility. We basically all the manufacturing of all of our cable processing. Okay. So I make sure that everything is done correctly. It's done on time. I make sure that we're following our ISO standards.
Now, when you say you make sure of that, you're not looking over each and every wire, are you? How's that happening? How are you making sure of this
Obviously,
stuff?
we have teams of people.
Okay.
So we do audits. That's how we reassure that we're doing everything correctly. But I have a quality manager that goes through make sure that we're putting all our test data in, our crimp height data, our pull test data,
okay,
all things of that nature.
So all your equipment that you're building these wires, big wires with, is all up to snuff, and they're pulling things to the right and crimping at the right.
Yep.
And then in terms of actually then producing a piece, then are these checked over before they go out to the customer?
Yeah, so it's really up to our quality manager.
Okay.
So we have some more in-depth assemblies that will get 100% QC'd, start to finish all the way through. Something like this is pretty basic for us. So as long as we have the data in as far as our crimps are going and our cut lengths and all that, some of this stuff will be cut, crimped, and packaged right in assembly.
And saying basic for you, you guys throughout your history have probably done thousands, maybe millions of these things?
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of experience there. That's pretty good. This really is heavy, I got to tell you. So what kind of expectations then do your customers have that they're going to be holding you accountable for specifically?
So basically back to what I just said, quality.
Yeah.
They expect everybody, their stuff to be there. It's got to be right, and it's got to be on time.
Yeah.
So those are the biggest.
What is on time typically? What is that? And I know it probably changes obviously on the order, but.
So something like this, we can normally knock out in 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
Some of the more in-depth large wires things last about 7 business days from when we get parts.
Okay.
So parts is another thing. Usually we have stuff on stock. Our biggest customers, we have assigned stock.
Sure.
Make sure our inventory levels never dip below that. So normally 5 to 7 days.
If somebody new hasn't worked with you is watching this, and they get how's it going to work for them? So obviously they've got some sort of a product they need. They've gotten their estimate, giving you the specs and all. They got the estimate, got the okay to do it. Once you get the okay, what are the steps? Just ballpark. What are the steps to then that new piece
for building this?
Yep.
So if it's something we've never done before, we have a first article process. We build a 1-piece or a 3-piece sample. We do PPAPs, whatever the customer requires.
Okay.
To deliver them 1 piece. Then they can dissect that product, make sure it's exactly what they're looking for.
Okay.
Then the customer gives us the okay, and then we start mass production.
That's great. And just an idea of what's the timeline typically for that from the time you give it to them and they take it apart and get back to you and you make any changes? Let's say there's a change they need.
Yeah, it's really up to the customer. Some customers turn around within a day.
So, okay.
Some customers, they send it to their end user. They want to put them on machines. They want to test them out there. It
Okay.
could be weeks, sometimes even a month.
Okay.
For them to actually test one on one of their units.
In terms of then they come back and say, hey, this is close, but we needed to change something. How long then will it take Winar to make that change? Get back to them with the next
Depending on what the change is. If they're just saying, hey, we want to shorten this by 3 inches, done.
Well, right then you just take your your scissors, huh?
So we update our information in there
Okay.
and we tell them we're good to go. We can start production. If it's a major change on a bigger assembly, we may require them to do another 1-piece first article. Hey, you've completely made changes. Here's a new one. Test this one. Give us the okay.
And obviously, as a plant manager, you need materials to make this stuff. Your sources, pretty solid network of.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you'll be talking to our purchasing agent, Shauna. She can go over that with you a little more in detail, but yeah, I think we're pretty locked down right now.
That's good, and that's obviously really important, getting things done on time. Just want to see if I have any more questions. Just your own personal management style, then. What kind of culture do you have with your team there at the plant?
I'm more of a hands-on type of guy. I like to be there. I know I spoke about working remotely with South Carolina, but while I'm up here at 1.0, I'm there every day. I'm on the floor. I'm walking around. I have an open door policy, as do the owners of Winar Connection. I've been there for over 20 some years.
Oh, great.
So I've kind of adapted their management style.
You must be doing something right if they're still there 20 years, right?
Right. So I've kind of adapted to their management style, which is open door policy.
Yeah, great.
So that's what I like to do.
Open door policy, and that probably, it's probably good for your customers to know that, because they can, any issues they have, whatever.
Yes.
And I'm curious, can somebody just, if for some reason, do you deal with any of the customers directly yourself once you get that relationship, or is it just usually?
We do have a customer service.
Okay.
So we wish that they would all go through them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't, and it trickles to me.
Well,
So
what the heck?
Of course, I'm going to help them.
Well,
but I always include the customer service in that as well.
Whenever you got a question about something, I was always taught go to the top. So
there you go.
You're the top, Jim.
There you go.
Hey, if you want to get maybe meet Jim and some of the other team that makes up Winar, why don't you give him a call? Talk to him about what they can do for your product needs. And boy, is there something even bigger than this?
Yeah, we go all the way up to 750 MCM.
Okay, do you hear that? So if you need it, you got it. So thanks a lot, Jim.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Appreciate it.